here's the process of completing the square. So if you are going to, if you're looking to solve an equation, and one of the other possibilities that you have in solving it is to follow the steps for completing the square. What completing the square does is it allows you to write it in a form that is more like that intercept mode, or the intercept form, I'm sorry, the vertex form of the quadratic. Okay, so here's the process for solving for x. Okay, and completing the square. Okay, step one is move all the constants to one side. Okay, so if we were to move all the constants to one side of our equation, okay, our first step involves just moving that 2 over to the other side. Okay, and then the second step is, now notice as I did that, I left some space here. Okay, you do want to leave some space to complete the square. The process of completing the square involves the following. Okay, the first thing is you're going to take 1/2 of your b value. Okay, your b value is that first degree term's coefficient. So in this case, and the sign carries with it. So we're going to take 1/2 of 6. Okay, what is 1/2 of 6? Once you take 1/2 of that number, you're going to square it. And you're going to add that to both sides of equations. Okay, so if we take 1/2 of 6, we get a positive 3. Positive 3 squared is 9. So we're going to add 9 to both sides of the equation. This step is always adding. Okay? You're never going to subtract anything, even if this was a negative here. You're always going to add some value to both sides. Okay, what this allows you to do, and the whole purpose of this is by doing these two little steps right here, taking 1/2 of your b value and squaring it, it allows you to rewrite this left side in the special form of a perfect square trinomial. So this is always going to factor into first term of x, your second term. Okay, so your next step here is to write as a binomial square. And the form should be x plus whatever 1/2 of your b value was. Okay, so again, our b value was a positive 3, so 1/2 of that, or I'm sorry, our b value was a positive 6, 1/2 of that is a positive 3. And you can see, if we expand this out or follow the rules for this, x plus 3 quantity squared is the factored binomial square form of this expression. And so that's why you follow these two steps will always lead you to this perfect square trinomial form. And then as you simplify your equation, your final step is to solve by extracting the square root. Okay, and so here we could square root both sides. So we get x plus 3. When we take the square root of a variable squared, we have to take into consideration the positive and negative root for that. So we have to take into consideration plus or minus the square root of 7. And then just isolate your x. Again, as we're solving this, we're looking to isolate x. So to isolate our x, we'd have to subtract 3, undo this operation. Whatever you undo, whether you're adding it or subtracting it, put it in front of the plus or minus. So we subtract a 3 from both sides, plus or minus the square root of 7. And so this is your answer. All right, have you guys seen this done before? Okay. Now, again, what can we do to confirm this as our answer? Or even more accurate than the guess and check? Yeah, we can enter it in the calculator, right? So let's confirm that this works. So if we solve, type the equation in exactly as it appears. So x squared plus 6x plus 2 is equal to 0, comma x to let your calculator know what we're solving for. Hit enter, and we get the same answer. Again, negative root 7, negative quantity root 7 plus 3 is the negative 7 minus, or I'm sorry, the negative 3 minus root 7. And then root 7 minus 3 is the negative 3 plus root 7. Okay, so you get your answer. You can confirm that you got it the right way here.